G'day guys. Okay, this is an important one for anybody who has the variable damping on their detector. Now, you've probably seen my previous videos where I'm trying to do it by ear, trying to tune the damping by ear, and it's very, very difficult. You have to adjust the damping control and swing a target over the coil and try and listen for the best response. That's how it works. It gives you a better response on gold. But I'm going to lower this down. I think it's probably a little bit high at the moment. Someone's jammed it up in the air. I've got to show. I've got to do a show and tell. Okay, otherwise no one will know what I'm on about. Okay. For this one, I've brought out the dual anti-phase coil set, and it suits me quite well. And I'll tell you something else I found too. When I was doing a lot of videos in here and I had some of the test equipment on, there was a lot of noise, and the culprit, believe it or not, and this is an interesting one. This thing here, it's a soldering station, and it's Chinese, of course. Yaboli 8586D, and D probably means for destruction electromagnetically, because it is the biggest EMI generator I've ever come across for a bit of equipment. The thing with this, I'm going to show you this. If you got one and you can't work out where the noise comes from, you turn it off and the noise keeps going. So what we'll do, we'll turn it on. I'll just show you this quickly before I get onto the main subject, which is the variable damping, but I'll just get this off my chest. Okay, it beeps away. You can probably see it's getting up the temperature, and it's got these two switches down the bottom here. One's for the soldering iron and one is for the hot air blower, and they got an on and off. So you think that it would kill the supply to either, because one's a 24 volt supply and one is actually at mains, because the way the hot air blower thing works. Probably was going to be a thicker lead on it so you don't wear through and zap yourself. But anyway, the thing is, I could probably set the detector on and show you, but it just makes a horrible lot of noise. But what it is, you go, if you can see on the display there, okay, it's probably flashing because of the frame rate error. We'll have a bit of a non-synchronicity between the two. So I'll turn that off, right? And it'll go down and we'll say it's off. It's not off. It's got a horrendous noisy switch mode power supply in it that absolutely destroys the detectors when I get the gain up. I couldn't work out what the noise was. And the other days I turned all the equipment off and I'm saying, still there, it must be mains. And then I turned off the whole power banks. The noise went away. I went, oh, what's going on here? Actually, I should do it just to show you, because it is absolutely a mind blower. So I still haven't got on the target of what this video is about, but I'm going to get this off my chest first. So let's turn this thing on. Now, this one here, I'll tell you what it is in a second. I've actually got to look at it. It's a 5000. Okay. It's not working at the moment because I've got the variable damping turned off. Somewhere around there. I've got the gain on 0, so I'll turn the gain up. Now, I don't want to blast out the whole neighbourhood, but you can hear that noise. Now, this is a really good coil setup that's matched, and it should cancel all the noise. It doesn't. Why not? So we've got this thing here, this power supply, sitting out there at 370 degrees. Let's turn it off. Noise doesn't disappear. And this is what I've been working with. When I crank the gain up on stuff, I've had to put up with this noise. Now, if I'm very, very dexterous, we'll try and get my arm around here and kill the mains. And notice the noise has gone down by about half. Still got some noise there, but I've got the gain. It's full gain, and it's. I've got other coils and experiments hanging around. They could interfere too. They do couple because these things are acting as transformers to any other coils. And yeah, there's coils on the floor here, so it can actually do that. Anyway, okay. Yeah, tiny, tiny, tiny gold target here. I mean, absolutely minuscule. So we can pick that up, no worries. But I'm going to show you how to do this. The biggest bugbear was setting the variable damping. And I've got a big report from one of the guys who was testing for us about the variable damping. And I should probably read it out. But because I'm using the iPhone, I can't read it from that. I can read it from the Mac over there. So we might get onto that later. But this is important for anybody who has this on their detector, because setting it up, and I've looked at it, how to do it, and I have to get on to basically, I'll just turn this off for a second. If I push the switch, the right lever, I have to explain a lot of things. It's very, I know exactly what's going on. I've got to try and put it into simple speak about things. Now, but if I go on about what he said, then I'm going to have to read what he said. I'll just be doubling up. How about I go and read exactly what he sent? So this fellow, I don't know if you probably might want to stay anonymous for the time being. I don't know. I don't like outing anybody who's a private person, as in they enjoy their privacy and start saying things that they said and saying who they are. I don't want to do that. So we're going to get on to that. Now let's get this thing up. It's probably got all sorts of stuff that I don't want anyone to see on the computer. So we'll just let it roll. And where is it? There. Now I'm going to read all this stuff first to make sure. It's not there. It was sent by email. I thought it was sent by messenger. It was sent by email. And I'll find it because it was quite good. I'll have to read it out. But like I say, bear with me. I'll just get through this first because this is all part and parcel of the same thing. But I'm going to show you how to set up the variable damping quick and easy, and it's absolutely accurate, and it works, and it peaks right where it's meant to. It's okay, I'm going to have to search. Hang on a sec. Where are you? New battery. Something or other. Got it. I'm going to read it. I'm not going to show because it'll pick up the email address and everything like that, and the poor person will be outed. So we're not going to do that. Okay. I wish I can probably make that bigger. Hang on. Okay, here we go. This is from someone. Right, okay. This was sent to us yesterday, January 11, right, at 7:08 p.m. So I'll read it. I'll read it clearly as best I can. Happy New Year to you both. Saw you both in a video earlier today. You both look well, which is fantastic. Just jumping in your inbox mail to say hi. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, if I read it in context. Enjoying Woody's videos. Found your point on small coils, flattened front wiring, then bundled rear. Very enlightening. I think that was David and Eugene talking about that. It wasn't me. Yeah, my Sadie makes more sense now. Woody's videos and his lucky strikes. Damn, he's had a fun month. Good on him. Yeah, good on me. He's really chipper again. Chipper? wouldn't have a bit of an American twang there saying that? I don't know. No, I don't think so. Gold is good for the soul. Loving the mods. Been testing different coils and coil damping. Now this is all important stuff. This is what you've got to know. Because this is going to become the flavor of the year, not the month. This is going to be really good. Because a lot of people who are professional detectorists have tried this and they actually swear by it. And this is another one. Anyway, I love them with different coils and damping. To see just how precise the setting needs to be and how much it varies from coil to coil. I agree. Answer is quite a lot. Yeah, I agree with that too. I haven't read that actually. Anyway, so it's yeah, it is quite a lot, and it's very precise. Woody mentioned today the suggestion of a readout to show peak damping. That's actually Ian emailed me saying that. So Ian was saying about tricolor LED or something of that nature. Yes, that can work. That can work. I know how to do it. It's very interesting because to do it, what you need to do, do I have to explain what you need to do? But basically, it's high pass filter, lightly coupled, and then you have to run it through a precision rectifier, and you can actually measure the ripple on a given time period of the receive window. You don't want to be too close. You want to be where it just starts. You want to look at where it should have settled, and definitely where it should have settled. So you go look on the exponential decay curve, which is like this. I'll do it that way. And if your coil isn't damped properly, it will ring. It'll look like a curve with ringing, which eventually fades off. So if the damping isn't correct for the coil, and it's not just a coil, you got to take into account the ohmage of the coil, the ohmage of the cable, the interwinding capacitance of the coil, and the capacitance of the cable, and also the impedance of the input circuit. So all these things come into play, and they will give you a specific, well, It's still a fudge factor because there's a lot of other variables. You can't measure everything. And it'll work out roughly what sort of resistance you need to stop that coil bouncing after the transmit cycle. So you want to settle it as quickly as possible. All coils are different. All coils have different winding. Even if it's one slip of a wind, it will cause a little bit of a difference. Even when this guy is saying that he tested out numerous coils, I've done tests here with the same coil, same manufacturer, and the setting is different. What's different? It's the way the coil's made. There's variances. There's variances in all electronics, be it plus and minus 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. It just depends, right? This is important stuff. It's very important. If you just go out there and wave a coil on a stick, you think it's all not important. Yes, it is, because that's probably this may be some of the reason you're not getting gold. And you're saying, "Oh, I can't find gold. Other people can." There's differences. I've even found different. I said it the other day. I found differences in the same series of detectors where it's been made, in my opinion, it's been made at a different factory. There's differences. There's all sorts of funny differences. And you might say, well, we can just modify a detector and say, she'll be right, mate. That is going to be really good. But because of variances, it may have less gain, more gain. It may have, less or greater, frequency variability. There's a lot of things that are different. Even, the way it interprets signals, the filtering, if things can be skewed like this all over the place. And, usually it's okay. But I did say about people in the early days unboxing detectors and running down to the test site and testing all the detectors and keeping the best ones for themselves, because they damn well knew there was variances between the detectors. So anyway, not going to go too much into that, but I'm just saying. Where are we? So yeah, we're going on to the indicator. He's going to come up with some ideas too. I haven't read this bit, so which brings me to when you have time, no rush. Yeah, right. Okay. Is there any benefit in leaving a coil slightly detuned? Depends which way detuned it is, right? We know that on a 4500 sharp and sensitive extra are two of the best settings for depth. Next is normal, yet we are often forced to run in enhance due to mineralization. There's two ways of looking at this. He who runs in enhance will usually not find deep gold, right? Believe me. It's what people. It's like what people do. Oh, this mode's noisy. I don't like that. Oh, hang on. I'll push this switch to enhance. Oh, it's now quieter, right? But it's quieter and you're paying a price for it. It's not quieter. There's your free lunch. It's quieter because it runs different pulses, and some of the pulses are very, very narrow, don't energize big, deep targets as much or as well as, say, normal mode. And you can still say, oh, yeah, still got its ground balance channel there of a big, long pulse. But that's only one big, long pulse. Then you got these piddly little pulses, right? Big waste of time. And then another, you're losing your cumulative sampling that, give you greater samples which average out the signal and noise. And the more samples you get in, the better the response. So if you're putting all these piddly samples or little signals through the detector, then they're only from little pulses. They're not going deep. They do not go deep. They do not energize big, massive targets. So it's like, oh, we've energized it, then da 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 da. Oh, we've energized it again. Should go wolf energize and have longer poles and go energize again, energize again, energize again, and bang, energize again in really definite energy bursts, not little narrow things that go tap. You want the sledgehammer goes smack, and it's going to ring like a bell. The more energy in to a given size until it saturates, the more energy out. Big gold needs absolutely bucket loads of energy if it's deep and it's a fringe target. Tapping it like this with a, it's waste of time and effort. It doesn't even get down there. It doesn't do anything. It may give it a little bit of energy and then it goes, decays, a little bit of energy. What you do is smack the hell out of it and it goes bang and it goes bang back. You hear it. You want that for big, deep gold. You do not want all these piddle-ant little pulses. Anyway, where are we? I'm interjecting on this fellow's writings here, but anyway, I'm just trying to make a point. Okay, it's about detuning. Yeah. Next to normal, then we run enhanced due to mineralization. Mineralization can be dealt with in many ways. You don't need to just attack it with really very short pulses, leave a long decay time and then turn it on. They're just losing signal. It does get rid of the mineralization though, but a proper working ground balance system should get rid of the mineralization, should it not? Anyway, what you do in those situations, because usually if you've got really, really high mineralization and you're using a mono, right, the mono is exciting the minerals directly under the coil and it's very, very reactive, and you get this monstrous big signal from the saturated mineralization from the detector pulse, comes straight back and just obliterates everything. Get your transmit coil here, put your receive coil over here, right? So bang, oh, this one here is not under all this greatly energized ground. It's got a better chance of hearing what's down there and coming up and hearing it. So concentric coils could be a way of looking at it. So, a small, people would think like this. Well, does it make a difference? Think about it. A big coil and a small coil. How about you just look at it like this? The way I would look at it, a lot of people say, oh, we're going to go and energize the big coil on the outer, right, and disperse the energy through the ground. No, don't do that. That's how people do it though. Belt the hell out of the smaller coil in the middle, right? Now that's all the ground here that's getting saturated with energy, but out here it's not. And that's your big pair of ears, or big set of ears, or big ears out here. Big coil. It's a big ear, right? A lot of capture area. That's how you do it. It's more susceptible to EMI because it's a big capture area. So come on, all noise and everything else. Yeah. And the other way around is you're belting the ground and you're, saturating the ground out in the outer part of the coil, and you're listening with the small bit in the middle. Maybe that could be looked at as that will pick up less EMI. It could give you a better signal to noise ratio, but it's a small ear. Big ear, small ear. But when you think about it, energy in here and the receive there, or energy out there, receive here. What's the best way of going? It depends. There's variables on that as well. So not one coil suits all. There's other ways of doing it as well, which I might get into one day if I have time. But anyway, okay. Here's an expert. See, this guy's quite clever. Can we drop down the variable frequency, which will quieten the hot rocks? It's not a matter of dropping the frequency, yeah, it is. Everything's a variable here. It's not do this, this will happen. You've got to do this, do that, and do something else as well. Everything comes into play. So we're going to look at it like this. Can we drop the variable frequency, which will quieten the hot rocks? Yes, it does. Do you know why it quietens the hot rocks? Now, what you're doing is you've got, say, pulses of this size, and you're making them, you lower the frequency and they're going like this. Great, that's going to energize big targets deep if they can accept all that energy. But with that going out, the off time after the transmit pulse turns off goes out. So if that is in close, you're getting all the hot rock signals are getting into the receiver. And if you look at the decay curve, the further out you get, the curve starts to flatten. If you're picking up here on the curve, there's a lot of signal energy and all sorts in there. The further out you get, oh, there's not much. So that's what you're doing. When you go low frequency, you're actually stretching that out. For big gold, normally it does not matter so much because the stuff rings for a huge amount of time. You might be going on your little window here from, I don't know, just say an arbitrary number, 15 microseconds out to 20. You're losing 5 microseconds. On a small bit of gold, that's the difference between, I can hear it now, I can't, right? It'll disappear. It will decay off and you won't be able to pick it up here. It's not there anymore. If you're sampling in this part of the curve, if you're up here, you'll hear it, no worries. But so is all your hot rocks and all that live here as well, right? So the more dead time you put out after the transmitter turns off, you're letting all this stuff decay. Like it gives up its energy, it's not there anymore, so it decays away. Electrically decays, and it's just neutral, it's not there. May have a little bit of energy in it, you know, that little eddy currents running around, and that's what they are. And anyway, then the receiver turns on. So when you got the transmitter turning off here, all this area here, this time window where everything goes, and then you turn the receiver on here, if there's a big gap, it's not going to hear hot rocks and the likes, you know, and really reactive ground. But then you don't want to be doing that looking for small targets at low frequencies. Well, you stretch the frequencies out because you're stretching everything out and you'll lose your small targets. That's why I always say with the variable frequency, you, like with the detector here, they've got the adjustment for manual tune. We convert that into variable frequency or variable pulse space ratio, because it's not a frequency as such. Because how can you have, you know, one pulse of this long and then others like this? That's not a frequency. Frequency is a repeating cycle, even if it's square waves or sine waves. So it's a mixture. You know, it might be, you know, 5 kilohertz and 15 kilohertz or whatever mix. It's not a frequency. And because it runs, you know, in a frame, a continuous loop, what frequency is it? It's not that, and it's not that, it's both. So you can look at it like that, and it's, yeah, basically you can't really call it a frequency. It's a mix of frequencies or time windows because it's not repeating. Like, you know, it's not a sinusoidal sine wave or, you know, equal squares. It's, you know, big long ones and little short ones and all over the shop. So it's a proper way to say it. We all say frequency, it's just an easy way to say it, but it's not. Okay, let's go back into the detuning part. We can drop down the variable frequency, yeah, quietens hot rocks. We know that. We can drop back the front variable gain to lower the ground mineralization response. Both are having an effect. With keeping the RX gain lower and the stabilizer on 2. Wow. Okay. The question is, can the variable damping be used as a way of quietening the ground without losing too much depth? This is what we call over damping. Yes, you can. you can overdamp the detector, but in all honesty, if you've got that frequency, if you've got that time domain changeability, right? Now, I'll call it frequency, otherwise no one's going to know what I'm talking about. We'll rename it frequency. If we change the frequency down lower, yes, it drops out the hot rocks anyway. Um, I know what he's trying to do, but see, the thing is, if you over dampen the coil, it becomes deaf, right? It's harder, and for anything to sort of toggle along it's you're trying to squash it. You're trying to squash every oscillation, but you're probably squashing good ones too. It is a technique, but I wouldn't do it. Over damping, it's not a thing. You want maximum sensitivity for your signal. You don't want to lose your signal. Once you lose your signal, it's gone. It's bye bye. It's not recoverable. But I get what you mean. I get what you mean, and it's like the wish list of every prospector out there that you if you could do that, and then all ground noise goes away, and I can keep working. But there's all trade-offs. It's not simple. Do this, do that, and everything's going to be rosy. It's not. You're going to give up stuff, but you can try. And if you're going to do stuff like that, because let's just say metal detectors to a degree are a black art for a lot of people, bury targets and try it. Bury targets and fiddle to your heart's content and see what does what. The best learning curve ever. If you say bury something, you put it on high frequency and you say, oh, God, I can get that ping, ping, ping. You start lowering the frequency down and stretching your pulses out, which, that dead time goes out as well, where, everything's decaying away. The longer that is before the receiver turns on, the less signal's there. It's like it goes down like, into nothing. And then you turn the receiver on, you go, I don't hear anything. But if you put that back there, you turn the receiver on, and there's still signal there, so you get it. So anyway, very good. Yes, you can. Everything's a variable. You can vary the gain. You can vary the pulse length, frequency, for a better, not a better word, but anyway. And yes, you can do stuff like that to defeat mineralized ground. But I'm going to have to get on to the subject matter, which actually this is about, and I'm going to show you something interesting. As I said, I've been having a play to see what settings I can combine together for various situations. The one in after right now is the one in after right now. I think meant to be a different word in there somewhere. Anyway, it's hot clay he's on about. The one in after right now is hot clay, not too many hot rocks. Okay. Thanks for all you've done for me. If you ever need anything or help in any way, please reach out. Cheers to you both. And not saying the name, but anyway, this guy has been having a lot of success with the variable damping in his detector. But as we've seen, it's a pain in the proverbial to set up. And that's why people have been saying, can you do this? Can you do that? And try and make it easy. Yes, but do you know what I've got to do that? I've got to make another circuit board up and shove it in the detector. And it's going to be powered from the detector's own voltage rails. Again, it's more load on the detector, and the thing's not made for it, really. It's like having a submarine that's made for 100 submariners and putting 200 in there and the oxygen runs out. It's like the power runs out. We can't just keep sucking regulated power out of these detectors from their converted voltage rails, it will just end. The detector won't turn on for one, and smoke will pour out for two. And then it needs a redesign. And I'm working with an existing design. It's really, really hard to add all this stuff in with a given amount of power supply. What do I do? Do I have to go and build another power supply? It gets ridiculous. Might as well build another detector, ha ha, right? But it's the way it is. But I'm going to show you how to get around the problem. And it works. Okay, I've done it on all the coils I've got here. I haven't done field tests, but I've sort of just nutted this out tonight. I've been working on it for most of the day. And everyone's detected to get them out the door as well. So it's all happening. So it's been a long day. I did start at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and now it's 10 o'clock at night, and I haven't stopped. So that's where we are. Anyway, thank you to, I won't say your name, but let's get back to this. I'm going to show you how we can make this work really, really well. So bear with me, and I'll bear that over there. It's a bit bright. Okay, here's our detector. Let's turn it on. Oh dear, we can even have some, if I do that, there we go. You can even see on the oscilloscope there, can you see like fat and skinny? Well, that's fat, and then that's really small. That's why it's not a frequency. It's not even, you can't even call it, it's the spacings are all wrong. You can't call it a repetition of something. It's not. It's that happens, then something different happens, then something's longer, something's shorter, and then it does the same again. You can't correlate that to a frequency. People have always said, what frequency do they run at? I don't know. It puts out a pulse this long and a pulse that long in that mode. So anyway, let's crank this up. We'll get some audio out of it. Righto. Now I'm going to have to get this. I'm going to have to poke it at the coil. I have to poke it at everything. So I can get the coil there. I get the detector there. Righto. Let's have a look at this. Now, I'll use a big target just to prove things. A big target, 0.1 of a gram. Of course, I went the wrong way. No, I didn't. Hang on a sec. Let me check the settings on this thing. Okay. I had the gain cranked up on full. It's very non-responsive to a 0.1. It gets it, and normally, on this, it'll get that 0.05. Won't hear it. Deaf, not working, okay? Damping is right down. It's right off. So, okay, watch this. Now, I think I know where the pointer is on the control. I think I've got it pointing in the right spot. So if I use a 0.05 now, works, no worries, right? Full damping. Now that's full damping, roundabout factory damping where they sit these, and the signal's diminished. It's not correct for this coil. Normal factory damping is not correct for this coil. And I might arse it by using other coils and it might be correct, but in most cases we have to adjust it. And on all these detectors as they came out, they don't have any provision for it. It's what you get's what you get. And it's not like you can put in banks of resistors and go, we'll go 390, 420, 460, 470, 510 or something. The actual adjustment is super fine. So you would probably, if you're going to do it with click, 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 click resistors, what will happen is that you'll be in between two of the ranges and you won't get there. It'll be close, but it won't be right. You can put pots in there and do it with a big variable pot. Try it, see what happens. Try and get a pot, a potentiometer, what I should say, that'll handle around about 200 volts, because that's what the flyback is clamped to, and with peak powers of about 2 or 3 watts, right? It burns the carbon out. It doesn't last. You put a wire wound one in there and you've got a big power inductor. It doesn't work. It will screw it up no end. Your detector won't work. You can't use that stuff. Even though people wish they can, you can't, right? I did try it once where I used a padder. I had some fixed resistors and I put a variable pot through as a padder, where it made slight differences to the existing resistors that are doing all the hard work. Eventually it burnt out as well. So you're playing with lightning basically. So it's not going to work. But the way I've done it works. So let's have a look here. Okay. So you want to say, oh, when am I critically damped? Very, very simple. Now, I've got to show you all the things I've got here, because you'll be going, what's he got all these for? Well, basically, I've got heaps and heaps of ferrite and not ferrite cores, right? Well, basically, they're all knots and cores of all sizes, shapes. Um, you know, pot cores like that. That's half of one, but that's got a permeability of 9,500. I'll show you actually what I did. I was just making up some test coils. Now, normally a coil needs a huge amount of wire on it, right? But that actually gives us 300 microhenries with that much wire. And that's a fairly high permeability core. There's a problem with it, and it works, but it has an effect called Barkhausen effect. Do you know what Barkhausen effect is? It's the domains in the crystal lattice structure of this material don't flip as fast as they should with given excitement from the pulse. So yeah, it basically screws up. It makes a lot of noise too. So if it's making a lot of noise in your receive window, that's the Barkhausen effect when you're trying to use cores. So you don't use these sort of cores. You have to use iron cores, right? Because iron cores, think of iron as a rust, right? And basically, it's not really rust, but I'm trying to say it simply. Just each particle of iron or whatever else is in there is slightly air gapped. Someone's trying to ring me. Jason, the programmer, is trying to ring me, but that's all right. I'll ring him back. What happens is that with these pulses, they're unipolar. They're not bipolar pulses. With all cores, and ferrites in particular, it has to go this way, that way, and that's the middle. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and it resets the domains in the core. Otherwise, what happens if you keep banging them all one way? They saturate. Your core's no longer a core. It can actually cause distortion and all sorts of problems. So when I see unipolar pulse devices, such as our normal metal detectors, and people put ferrites in there, I sort of scratch my head. I say, do you know what you are doing? No, you don't. You probably just said, oh, ferrite's a good idea to suppress things and put them in there, right? Yeah, put it in a bipolar system. Don't put it in a bloody unipolar system. Anyway, and horses for courses, you can very easily oversaturate ferrite. It'll just collapse. It will no longer be a high permeability structure. It'll just collapse to zero. And basically, it's just a little piece of wire there. It don't work, right? There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about. So anyway, let's have a look at this. So we've got our tiny bit of gold, and we can actually hear that. Sorry, I'm going up and down. I thought I was balancing a GP ZZ7000. No, it's just so you can hear it. There you go. See, should have the camera on the other way around, shouldn't I? But and I've got the gain turned down too, so you know how damn well this detector's working. There you go. Very small. SDC 2300, GPX 6000. Eat your heart out. Now, let's get on to the nitty gritty of it all. So let me get into critical damping area. Turn the damping off. Basically, very little damping. The coil is actually ringing like this, and it's not being damped out. The poor old detector's it's going to sit there and make noise. It's going to hear all the up and downs and think it's it's AC signal. But we get our test target. We go dead as a dodo, right? It ain't working. Now, with every bit of ferrite, every bit of iron, every hot rock of every persuasion and stuff and mixes I've made myself, and I have got some short ones that I had made a while ago. I'm going to show you something. And this is the only material it works with. And I don't know why, but I'm not going to argue. But this is how you set the damping. Okay, watch this. Now, I'll try not to get my big boofy hand in the way, but I'll see how we go. Okay. Just making sure we're in tracking mode, okay? Tracking, got to be in tracking. I'm trying to track this out, okay? Won't track out. Now, I'm turning the damping up bit by bit. There you go. I turned it up and I turned it back a bit, damped it out, right? Very little there. Can we pick anything up? No, because the detector, if you listen to it, it's dead quiet. It's like, oh, it tricked you. You've got to go for the second bite of the cherry. So what we do, we go past that. Now, see, it's come alive. Don't believe the first one, the second one. And you can do this on any coil. It works really well. Let's have a look. So I've got a marker on here just to make sure I'm in the ballpark. I'm a little bit high, but see on the second one, it tracked it out. This. Now, it's come alive. Now, actually, the signal level, what we're getting at the moment, will be far greater than if I turned the damping all the way up to factory default. It will just sit there and just lose response. That's the 0.05, by the way. So basically you go, in all reality, when you hit the critical damping point, you should go a little bit, like 1/100th of a turn more, just a little bit. Doesn't make much difference, a little bit, right? But guess what it does? It improves getting rid of hot rocks massively. The Kalgoorlie hot rock, remember how difficult these things are to get rid of? Well, just have a look. I'll just give it a flick because I'm probably fixed into tracking. I can stay there for Christmas now, next Christmas. So this material works really well of putting it at a set point for the coil. It's not the first one you hit's the second one. The first one's a trick. The second one's real. So yeah, I'm gonna have to write it up as a bit of a white paper on setting up the variable damping. Before, you know, obviously I can go ahead and make an electronic indicator for when it's critically damp, because I can do the little 1/100th of a turn offset in the circuit to make it do exactly as I want it to do. But these, so anybody who gets critical damping, if you haven't got one, you better get us to send you one. I don't know how many of these I've got. I've got to go and try and find out what I actually had made. These are damn heavy too. The other ferrites and iron and carbonyls and all the rest of it, they will not work. This, you need this, and you could probably drill a hole through it with a diamond tip and wear it around your neck or something, or put it on your detector shaft on a bit of elastic. You just go down and set it, bang bang, let it go. But it's important. This gives more sensitivity. So even if that's sitting there, I mean, that's as sensitive as all fired, you know what? There's my fat hand. I can still hear it up here. Yeah, I can hear it. There's a noise there, but I can still hear that. Hope you can hear it, but it's got massive sensitivity, but it's also quiet. A critically damped coil is a well-behaved coil, and the detector loves having everything right that's feeding into it. You don't have any impedance mismatches. Probably there is anyway, but you're probably getting rid of a lot of it, and you're getting probably pretty to very close to optimum power transfer from the eddy currents generated in your target into the coil, into the detector, where it can be deciphered and pumped out as an audio signal. So, guys, I think we're on a breakthrough here. I really do. Yeah. So, what do you think of that? Well, I can show you what actually happens with this. Let's go full damping. I'm in fine gold, by the way. So use that little thing again. Can't get it. Can't get the height. Just can't get it. It's a big drop off on height. I mean, it's going to get it because it gets it anyway. But yeah, bringing the damping back to a critical level, everything it's like everything is running as it's meant to be. I'm trying to think of a metaphor to explain it. Um, it's I don't think there is one. It is what it is. I was going to say, uh, you know, I can pull things up, but no one. There's going to be sections of the community that won't have any idea. I was going to say, like if you're going for a jog and you get that stride going, and it's really efficient, and you can run really well. It's like that. Um, if you break that stride, it gets a bit harder. So it's like everything's working, the balance of everything that your whole body movement in relation to your legs, everything's sort of matched beautifully, and that's the same sort of thing that's going on here. So, but that's how you do it with these. I'll just do that again. I'll get rid of the hot rock. I'll give it some more amplitude this time. I'll turn it up a bit. So there it is. No damping. Okay, here we go. I nearly went past it. That's the first quiet part. And like I say, nothing there. So you just ignore the first one, right? You go, oh, but listen to the detector. You tell it's not doing anything. It's just sitting there, all I can hear is the threshold tone. That's it. It's not picking up anything. There's no noise whatsoever. You have a listen to it. Nothing's happening. So what we're going to do, we go around a little bit more. So we go clockwise. So it becomes reactive again. She's working. You can hear it. It's all over the shop. It's got interference and everything. Let's get some interference coming through, but I'll have a look on this now. I'm actually short of the mark by about 1/25th of a turn. So, because you can still hear that. Let's give it a quick flick from fix the tracking. Yeah, just had some chirp interference coming in, but you can just put a white dot on the pointer where it's got to be, and you're around that mark. You use different coloured dots for different coils. Put a red dot on your coil, and that's a red mark on the switch on that. So it's not a switch; it's a pot. But where you put the pointer is, white, red, blue, pink, whatever. And anyway, that should be full sensitivity. Easy up at 8 centimeters. I've got the ruler there so you can have a look. I've got this. The reason why I had this block, it's the size of the same height of the coil, so it's roughly at the right height if you stuck it on top of or next to a coil. So this is about the same. But anyway, you can hear that. Eight or 9 centimeters around that area on that. That's pretty good. I can always use a 0.1, which is sounds like I don't know what. Well, that's the 8 9 centimeter mark there. Well, I'm up at 11 and 12, so that's the difference it makes. So, guys, I'm going to have to go and do. I'm going to have to put some wines on this and look at it on my bridge and see what material is. I can work out permeability and material by putting some windings on it, and so it might be something that's commonly available, might not be too. But this is the best way to do it. It puts it right on the knocker. I've done it with the Elite, same thing, bang, 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 and it's right in a sweet spot. So where it tunes these out, but like I say, um, that's a quick and easy way to get the damping set rather than trying to do it by ear, you know, by just listening to target response. No, just do it to null this out. And it basically, if you're nulling out this, it means the bloody ground balance is working beautifully at that point. And yeah, and the signals come up. So it's the best of both worlds. You can probably knock out a lot of mineralization in hot rocks. So Mr. Who wrote that thing, you probably want to get one of these off me. And you probably want to do something with it so you don't lose it. But I got definitely got a couple of them. I got 4 of them here. So, yep, I got 4 of those. And I probably got more in a cupboard somewhere. I've got a lot of stuff kicking around here. You got no idea. But guys, that is the way to do it. So it looks like I'm going to have to go out in the bush to the test site again. And basically, I'm just going to stick one of these on the ground. And I'm just going to adjust the damping to get rid of it. And then go detecting. That's how it works. It doesn't matter where anything's set, because as soon as you change modes as well, if you go from, say, enhance, fine gold, or normal, you're going to have to retune that damping, because the coil's now being subjected to different pulse widths. I don't know exactly the amount of change that's needed. Maybe there's a little bit, but we'll have to find that out because we haven't done the experiment yet. Common logic and physics will tell me that yes, we're going to make changes, but then again, we may not. Just depends. I don't know. I haven't done the experiment, so without doing the experiment, you can't come up with the answer, can you? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed all that. It's bloody over an hour. But yep, I'm happy with that. So that 5,000 is working really good. It's a doozy, and you know, if you really wanted to, let's crank it up. I'll just crank it up flat stick. Come on. Now I'm thinking, while listening to that, it may need a little tweak of more damping. Let's have a look. Actually, I overshot the mark. So maybe that extra little bit I've been saying give it, you don't need to. So this thing, it's on full gain. It's like, I'll turn that down a little bit because, oh God. Anyway, these are the way to go. I should have actually used that to set it, but yeah, just looking at where I put my little mark. But yeah, it's good. I mean, there's not many. I'll tell you what, I haven't tried this on anything else. I reckon I'm going to try this on a gold monster, and I'm going to try. I've got the 6000. I could try it on the 6000 here. I could fire it up in here with the in its with its cancel coil on it, which I got at Cash Converters, or I can put the mono on it and take it out in the field. So it'd be interesting to know what works better with a given coil size. Does the damped 5 or 4500 even? What works best? You know, these are all the experiments, and yeah, there's only so much time in the day. But anyway, that's that. More to play with, and we'll see what happens. These coils, by the way, are not the best coil to do any really good testing with because they're very bulky, they're very high capacitance, and you know they're nowhere near as sensitive as say that elite coil. Even if I had two elites there, it would leave those for dead. These are only test coils, and they were not made to do very short, sharp pulses and very fast timings. There's a lot of capacitance in those windings the way they're made. It's just a tight bundle. The shielding's on tight. It's all right for the workshop for doing. I'm testing this detector to see if both channels work and are they balanced. Fine, but as actually a detecting coil, no, I would not use that in a million years. No way, no. But it does the job, and yeah, it's a little bit of extra shielding on these coils too, which like I say, it's only made for the workshop. It's not real life. Whereas we got something like that which I can't use in the workshop because it's just I can't get rid of the noise unless I had two of them and I co-phased them. I could probably do it that way, but that's just ridiculous. But yeah, we can do all sorts of things, and we can make up. If you want to do workshop work, of course, you can make up things like that. It's not going to pick up any noise, but it generates its own. So you then got to go to the bigger cores, or you use a. I'll tell you what. Anyone who wants to experiment, you'd be surprised if you get these E-cores. You've got to be very careful. Well, you can bloody use anything you want. I'm going to tell you how you do it. These are relatively, I think they're 4C material, Phillips or something, or Neosid. I can't remember where I got them from. But usually you get two of these, two E's. You get a bobbin in the middle, put your coil on it, wind it, and rather than slamming it down on the other half, put about 1 millimeter of paper here and here and even there. So you've got an air gap. Paper's air, right? Trust me. It's not conductive stuff like this or semiconductive stuff like that or anything like this, any sort of metallized ceramic. And if you do that, you can air gap it. And the greater the air gap you can have, you have to put more windings on to compensate, get up to 300 odd microhenries. But the greater the air gap you have, you get away from the saturation and domain sticking problems. So yeah, these things are also don't like unipolar pulses for them because they're all made for switch mode power supplies that use bipolar pulses through them. They don't use unipolar. They're not made for metal detectors. But if you gap them at a wide gap, they won't saturate. Saturate means they just lose their magnetic abilities and they just turn into might as well be a piece of brick, right? So that's what happens if you saturate them with too much energy. But you can air gap it and you can run more energy through it. It won't saturate anyway. Trick of the trade. Used to make switch mode power supplies, but that's another story. Used to do a lot of power electronic stuff too, so that's why I know all this stuff. And it comes in really handy when you're doing detectors as well because it just does. Dear. It's all good fun, guys. But anyway, catch us later. I'm getting out of here. And actually, just saying that, I bet you my beer's warm. That's one of the Christmas gifts. Still going. You gave me so many of them. Anyway, catch us, guys.